Alright, so today I get to take a look at the Etekcity Smart Wi-Fi Light Switch, model number ESWL01 that Etekcity sent me for a review today. This is a in-wall light switch so that you don't need to buy smart bulbs for your smart setup. As you can see, we have a nice brown packaging, which is typical for their smart product. The Smart Wi-Fi Light Switch here can take a maximum load of 15 amps or 1800 watts and operates on the 2.4 gigahertz frequency spectrum for your Wi-Fi and can support B, G, and N networks. Inside the box we have the switch, terminal caps, and a quick start guide. Okay, opening up the box here. You have your warranty card, some safety warnings, quick start guide. We have our orange terminal caps, and inside here is the switch itself. We have a nice protective film covering the faceplate. You can peel that off. The outside has a nice gloss finish, and the inner button is a matte. Turning around on the back, we have our green or ground, where we have our neutral and our black load wires. The quick start guide has everything nice and labeled. It comes with a wiring diagram that shows how to interrupt the light circuit. And of course, this is going to work with Alexa or Google Assistant. Now that we've unboxed the ESWL01, I'm going to show you how to install this into your wall and control your lights. Alright, so I've created a test setup here with a simple lamp module, and this would be what is typically inside your wall. You'd remove your light switch faceplate and disconnect your wires. In a very simple setup, this is what you'd have coming from your electrical panel, and this would be feeding your lights. Okay, so the first thing we'll want to do is remove the safety sticker here once you've read and understood it. This is also a good time to mention that if you don't know what you're doing and you're not confident, or you have an atypical setup here, you should definitely consult an electrician. This is just an example. Alright, so this is the green lead for ground, which would be these bare copper wires. So I'm going to connect all those together first. If you look at the back of the Etekcity switch here, you'll notice that the load and line and neutral wires are labeled. So we're going to start with the load, and in my setup here, that would be the one coming from the light bulb holder. So that would be here. You can use a multimeter or a voltage tester to see which one's the actual load wire and which one's the live wire, so that you don't reverse this. But when you're doing this, you're going to want to make sure the breaker's off. Okay, so now this load wire is going up to the lamp, and now we're going to do the line wire. This is the one providing main power. This wire, if you do test it with a multimeter or a voltage tester with the breaker on, should be giving you power, but you should not be working in here when the breaker is still on. So we'll put a wire nut on that. Now the last thing we have to do is connect all the neutral wires together. Okay, now we're grounded. We have our load wire attached to the load, and we have our line wire providing power to the switch, and we have our neutrals connected up. So now we have to just gently fold all the wires back into the receptacle here and power it up. To install the Etekcity switch into the receptacle, you need to pop the faceplate off here, which takes a little bit of force. I popped it off camera and cut myself, real nice. And just carefully fold the wires in. Okay, I've added a band-aid there to the installation. This is where you could safely turn on power to your breaker. I've plugged in my setup here and added a lamp. So now let's use the Etekcity switch. And now we have a working Etekcity light switch. And now let's continue with the rest of the Wi-Fi setup for the ESWL01 to make it a smart switch. Alright, so to continue with the next part of the setup, you'll go into your smartphone. I'm using an Apple iPhone here, and I've already downloaded the VSync app and created an account with Etekcity. And you'll just go ahead and navigate over to Home and click on plus to add a new device. We're going to be going over to Switches, and then choose the Etekcity light switch ESWL01 and click on Start Setup down at the bottom. Okay, so for this next step, you need to push and hold on the power button for 10 seconds on the switch. There will be a Wi-Fi indicator that starts to flash. Once you've done that, you can proceed to the next step. So once you've clicked Next, you can click on Join Network. To connect to the Etekcity switch to configure Wi-Fi access, you need to hop back over to your Wi-Fi settings on your phone. And you can see here I have the VSync in-wall switch. Alright, so now that we're connected to the switch's Wi-Fi, we can go back over to the app, and it starts to auto-configure. Okay, configuration was successful, and now we can give it a better name. Defaults to Etekcity Light Switch 1. We can clear that out. We can call that Office Light. Push OK. Now the switch is all set up, so we'll click on Done here. Now this Etekcity switch should now be a smart switch. You should be able to push on the icon in the VSync app and turn it on the light. And that worked. It's very fast. And now that everything's configured, we have a faint green Wi-Fi icon on the bottom of our switch, so that lets you know it's working. And now for a final step, let's set up this Etekcity light switch with the Amazon Alexa. To install the Etekcity switch, you need to open the Amazon Alexa app, go down to the bottom and select Devices. Once we're in Devices, we'll click on the plus sign at the top, click on Add Device, say Switch, we'll push on Other, push Discover Devices. And now Alexa is going to go out and look for any new devices it hasn't associated. And it discovered our switch, so let's push Setup Device. Alright, so it found our office light. It's set up and ready to use. Push on Done. Go over to Switches, and there's Office Light. Alexa, turn on the office light.
Okay.
Alexa, turn off the office light.
Okay.
So this Etekcity light switch was really straightforward to install. It came with everything I needed and didn't really have any hiccups or snags along the way. Hopefully you have a similar experience in your house, and I hope you enjoyed the review. And if you did, please consider adding a like down below or subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.